The other challenge. I don't remember if I shot any video on this yet. Enough with the light glare, damn it. I thought this would be really cool as a magic spell prop thingamajig. The advertisement didn't say what it was made out of. Turns out it's compressed cardboard of some kind. I consider that a possibility. Anyway, it's on a stencil. I have to use a sharp knife to cut these pieces loose and assemble it. Following through with inspiration. This is pretty much making itself. I finally got enough of this done. I decided to, for the sake of being able to put this into it, tape the areas where I don't want it glued so I have a top shell that can come off. And in order to hold this in place, suspended in the middle, decided to use pieces off of this leftover tube from this project. To add on the inside here, which is going to be glued into place, to suspend this perfectly in the middle. Here's how I am managing it. And by the way, it turns out this is made of a very weak cardboard, which is a layered paper, and I've had to re-glue tiny edges where the paper was beginning to peel back. I'm going to spray the inside and outside with some leftover spray that is meant for adding a frost effect to glass, and that should add some fair strength to this. Though, however, it can still be crushed easily by hand. Fortunately, I'll be able to travel with it because the box this came in, this perfectly tightly fits into. That's some support. I've been using the clear Fabri-Tac to fill in all of the lines around here. So, getting a good clean cut, a level cut on this is difficult because it's really flexible, but I have an idea. Here's the original cap. I measured and put scratch lines with my knife as to where I want it cut, which is slightly wider than my original so that I can use my scissors to trim off any rough edges and jagged cut lines. So, a couple of twists, lines it up perpendicular. I have to do this very carefully to not move that cap over. Expect to do this much work, otherwise I would have bought an X-Acto knife. Don't slash with it, but press inward. That's still deviating. The cut tends to want to twist to the side, which is why you gotta be very careful and do very short movements. If you use your knife for a while, the inner side of the blade will be the sharpest. The outer part will be more dull. wax paper I have down is to keep glue I put on this from sticking to my table. To keep it from sticking to anything that it's not supposed to. The original piece I put on here had magic symbols, but it made it look more decorated and opaque. I think this looks much deeper and much more mysterious, just as it is, so I put a new layer onto it. I'm actually considering putting a light inside. That's gonna be quite a task because I'll have to house it in this end and put a switch somewhere. And that's the actual fabricated cap on the inside, the plastic cap that came with the tube. So that would take a lot more time. I'd probably have to replace this entire sheath all over again. But to have a light inside to where you pull the cap off and it's glowing outward from within, that would be so freaking awesome. My other option is maybe get a free-floating, unattached light that's really small and just simply drop it in there. So when I open it up to bring out my portfolio, the light shines out, I pull out my cosplay crafts references, and man, that's gonna be a jaw dropper. Oh shoot, part of this I forgot to cut. This really does take a lot of attention and no daydreaming. Unless it's exactly about what you're doing and what your results are going to be. So this is going to get harder to cut because I don't have the support of the rest of the tube. So mistakes do happen a lot. You have to practice the same craft on a regular basis to really keep a handle on the whole thing and minimize mistakes. If it's something you don't practice all the time, then you better be ready to make repairs. I'm going to resort to the scissors in this case. By the way, I put a rare earth magnet in the cap. I'll reveal its purpose later. Also, because of the oils from my hands, I'm going to give this a rubbing alcohol cleaning so that when I finally glue it, the glue will stick far better. I don't need that coming loose. Really don't need that coming loose.